Hi guys, it's Jean here and welcome to my channel. Now, apologies for the bad lighting because it's probably going to go in and out. I'm trying to catch the sun right now before it goes down, and I have a feeling it's going to be a long video, so I'm just going to jump right into it. If you have Netflix or if you're on social media, then you've probably heard of the new TV series 13 Reasons Why on Netflix, and I wanted to, discuss about it and tell you why you should watch it and why everyone should be talking about it. Now, if you haven't watched it, then this will be a bit of a spoiler alert, but it is something that I think you should be aware of or take into consideration before you watch it anyway. And as a disclaimer, I am not a professional qualified psychologist or anything like that, any therapist or anything. This is just based on my opinion as someone that is going through depression, going through mental health issues, my point of view. And this is probably like the first ever TV show, something that has really I have felt connected with 110%, and it's hard for me to describe it normally to someone. So for this to be able to come, for me to be able to watch this TV series and actually, it's pretty much exactly what I feel being described, and you don't know how incredible that feels, which also saddens me because I knew once I watched it that probably like only a small amount of people will actually really understand the whole series, and a lot of people won't. Probably like about 90% people won't, and that's why I want to share my opinion and discuss about it. Now, I'm not going to review what actually happens in the series, but more comments and articles that I've read. This is me thinking out loud because everyone has an opinion on it. You know, it's suicide, it's too graphical or not appropriate for mainstream, but these people don't get it. And when you compare with TV shows like True Blood or Game of Thrones, why isn't this appropriate? Is it because it's true? So I read an article that said that this TV series caused a spike in suicide and pretty much listed a whole lot of reasons why it was offensive and why suicide is not the best way and how it's bad and everything. And this was written by someone that was formerly involved with suicide prevention. And I emphasize the word previously because I probably sucked at it. The way this article was written, first of all, for someone going through depression, they listed everything using a lot of capital letters for headings, and for me, it felt like it was kind of screaming at you, shutting you down, saying, you know, that suicide is ignorant, you know, it's ignorant to think about it or even do it, or it's not the best way to seek revenge. And for someone reading it that is even contemplating, for me, it felt like it really put me in a worse situation after reading that. And it's sad because that person that wrote it clearly didn't understand what this series was about. This series is not just about suicide, it's about sexual abuse, bullying, and the emotional effect that someone going through a mental illness is going through. Everything, and not just the main characters, every character in the show, from the extras to, like, you know, the parents and everyone in the show impacts it. And I applaud the producers, directors, and everyone that was involved in it, because for someone, like, the hardest thing is for someone going through this is trying to explain or work out in their mind what's actually going on. And I think it was actually done beautifully. Like, it was done so accurately. It also, for me, explained, it opened up to me what I felt and how I was feeling, because exactly how I felt emotionally that I couldn't explain. I personally often categorize mental health as depression. You know, I always say I have depression, but it's not just one form of issue. I now realize that it's far more than that, and it's not black and white or dimensional mental health. There's so much dimensions and complexity with it that I myself, like, can't figure it out. And if you don't know or don't know how it feels, then, you know, you could go crazy yourself just even thinking about it. I have never been sexually abused or bullied to a certain extent where I felt traumatized, but I can definitely relate to Hannah 100% emotionally. The way she narrates through the whole series, I get it. I understand 100%, because I don't understand. I don't understand how people can do things that you know it's not right, but they do it anyway because people are selfish. As long as it doesn't impact them or ruin their lives, they're happy to ruin other people's. I also understand how hard it is to ask for help, not being able to directly ask for help, but waiting for that one person to notice, but they never did. The sad reality is that when people need help, especially friends or family, is that people turn the blind eye because it's not their problem. You know, everyone has their own problem. Why would you want someone else's on top of yours? But it should be. It should be everyone's problem. You may do things that don't directly involve someone, but we are all still impacted. It's kind of like a butterfly effect. We are who we are because of our environment, who we surround ourselves with, what we are taught, what we are exposed to, and how we interact with each other. For me especially, I always, like, once in a while I'll get a call from friends just wanting to vent because they're going through a tough time or something, and I'm more than happy to listen. But it does also impact me as well when I hear them struggling or going through something. It makes me angry, and it makes me bring up all my issues, and then I'm angry. And when I talk to someone else or interact with someone else, you kind of pass through that negativity as well. Now, for some people, they can easily just shut it off or forget about it, but for others, it really leaves a big impact on them. I have lost contact with people that were previously important and valued in my life because I wasn't valued enough in theirs for them to even try. And in terms of suicide, I have thought about it quite frequently, but I can never come in terms of doing it because no matter how angry you are, how pissed off, and how much you want them to feel the pain and seek revenge, suicide doesn't do anything. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't make things better, because if they didn't value you or see you going through this, it's not going to be long before they completely forget about you after. And although it's something that I could never do, it doesn't mean that I didn't die each time I thought about it. Like I said, I'm not an expert, especially in suicide prevention, but if you are thinking about it, don't do it, because I know that feeling of being numb and just wanting everything to stop. But it's not going to change anything. It's not going to fix anything, because if you're gone, most likely you'll be forgotten and nothing will change. I know it's hard and there's going to be setbacks along the way, but your life is not worthless. You have been put here on this earth for a reason, and you may not see it now, but you just need to find that light of happiness in your life and focus on it and just grow as a person, because even though people may not value you the way you want them to, you need to be able to value yourself, to show everyone that you are as important as the next person next to you. You have the right to be here and to be able to be happy, and no one can take your happiness away from you, because no one should. I read another article that hidden in each episode was about sexual abuse, and it's sad because not many people see it. I didn't see it till I read the article, and then I thought about it, because it's just so common in society. The little things like catcalling or calling each other whores or sluts or just grabbing each other's asses, like not just on females but males as well, because it's so common in society. It's accepted. Like TV shows, movies, they portray that and people think it's okay, but it's not. It's sad to know that if someone is getting sexually harassed, they may not feel good about it. But until they, actually say the word rape, it's not taken seriously. I read a comment from a lady who was a psychologist and a mother of 2 teenagers, as she mentioned. She also commented that the TV show was too graphical and not appropriate for mainstream. And that really hit a nerve to me, because I felt like replying to it, but then I didn't see the point because it probably wouldn't get anywhere. But I've felt like saying, if your teenager came to you as a psychologist with a problem, would you say their problem is too not appropriate and too graphical? Like, there are so many more things on TV that are far more violent and graphical, and it's like the sex scenes and everything. And you also hear on the news every day, terrorist attacks, things about murder, gangs on the street, like sex trafficking, child pornography and things like that you hear, are you going to seriously like shield your children away from that? And it really hit a nerve because it's something that I have happened to me, and what I noticed when I reached out to someone about my problems, they didn't want their 20-month-old child to be exposed to being worried and all this problem, like I was a problem. And I guess, you know, people assume that they don't want their kids to be exposed to all these issues around the world, but people underestimate how smart kids are by nature. That same child that was, you know, not exposed to my problems, which I saw in a few weeks later when they were there, that child was the only person that reached out to me when I was crying. There was no, like, you know, nothing, they weren't, I guess, impacted by the world. Their innocence, like they saw that I was crying and they literally reached out to me. And a lot of people don't understand is that by parents trying to shield their children away from that, you're not doing them any favors. You're actually losing their innocence and their ability to show compassion. You know, I guess you could say how, like, you know, why I have the right to say that when I don't have kids myself. I don't know, I've never been a parent. But the truth is, your kids, children, the world, they're going to be exposed to that regardless. You can't help, you're not, it's like saying that, you know, what happened in the world, it's just all lies. You know, everything is all happy and dandy. It's not. Rather than shielding your kids away from them, you should be teaching them about it. And what I like about this show as well, and what it demonstrates, is the relationship between not just the characters, but the characters with their parents. You know, like I said, a bit of a spoiler alert, but for someone like Hannah, whose parents is in a bit of a financial situation, that are so focused on their business that they don't see a lot of the things that she's going through. You have parents like Zach's mum, who focuses on their kids trying to be good academically, that they don't see how, you know, their kids are a little brat. You see Justin, who comes from a broken home, that all he wants to seek out is someone to be there and listen and take care of what the mother can't. You know, it also touches on Courtney's parent, like, you know, parents being gay, having two gay dads, how she feels that she can't talk to them because she doesn't want to disappoint them. And even Clay's parents as well. Like, you see that relationship with people, and you see that, you know, you as a parent, you are your kids' world, and you should be showing them, you know, demonstrating to them and making them feel like they don't have to be this person. I don't know if that makes sense, but it made sense in my head, I guess. I think rather than commenting, saying, oh, rather than leaving it to other people to educate your kids, it's something that you need to do as a parent. I think that everyone needs to watch this series. I think it should be part of a school curriculum to show it. I know it's not it's not like something that just came up. It was based on a book, whether it's the TV series or the book be part of a curriculum. But I think it's something that needs to be discussed, not just with teachers, but also with parents as well. You know, a lot of times you don't know what your kids are watching. You don't know what your kids are doing. And a lot of times it's because they don't have the guidance, because a lot of people, I know personally through my family, you know, sex talk was always a taboo, especially if you go to a Catholic school. There's barely any like sex education, like things like that. It doesn't need to be a taboo. You know, it's natural, it happens. It needs to be discussed. You know, kids need to know, not the lies, the happy, you know, sunshine everywhere kind of bullshit. They need to know that this is life, and that it's not okay to do certain things, and that if you are going through something, you know, regardless, you should be okay to discuss about it. You know, rather than commenting saying, you know, this is not appropriate for kids, or it shouldn't be aired, like, you know, how could you do that? But as a parent, as an authority figure, a teacher, you know, we should be doing all to be able to say, hey, yeah, this thing happens, but you know, there are ways to deal with it. You know, there are ways to overcome it. So yeah, that is my opinion. That is me thinking out loud. The sun's about to go down, so I think that's it for me. I do strongly recommend watching it with an open mind, and also discussing it with people, family, friends, parents, your own children, and really getting it open, because it's the only way, I believe, that we can prevent it. I hope you understand this video, and until next time, bye.